Everything you've ever imagined is real. See, I tell young people like this. First of all, this is how your imagination works. You got to grab this concept. It is impossible for you to think an impossible thought. That is impossible. You can't think something that ain't possible. You ain't that smart. So if it's in your head, you got to ask yourself, how did it get there? That's God showing you a preview of a coming attraction he has for you.
Okay, everybody can't do it. Okay, yeah, I love this one. You know, people talk about this. We're all born with greatness. You're not fucking born with greatness. You earn greatness. Okay, that's a bullshit line to sell fucking shit, to talk about we're all born with greatness. Okay, that's the raw stuff about giving people hugs and high fives and all that other stuff. That's a fucking high. Okay, I tell people, what do you got to do to get to paradise? You got to fight like fucking hell.
I just be myself. I think people respect that when you just an authentic person. And I try to do great work for people. I work hard to make sure that the finished product is something that I would go see, or that I would spend my time watching or listening to. So I think it's a lot of pride that goes into the work.
The problem is we don't teach people how to lead, right? When you're very, very junior, we give people tons of training how to do their jobs. Some people get advanced degrees how to do their jobs so that they'll be good at them. And if you're really good at your job, we'll promote you. And eventually you get promoted to a position where you're now responsible for the people who do the job you used to do, and we don't teach you how to do that. So how can we expect people to be good at their jobs if we don't train them how to do it? Like, would you go see a doctor that didn't go to medical school? No. So why would we work for a leader who has no training in being a leader? That's why we get managers. That's why we get micromanagers. That's why we get toxicity. It's not because they're bad people. It's because they don't know what they're doing. And they're making it up as they go along.
I care a lot about the truth of things and trying to understand the truth of things. I think that's important. If you're going to come up with some solution, then the truth is really, really important, I think. I try to think of, it's difficult to obviously come up with things that are praise for oneself, or there's bad and good here, but I think sometimes they're just the things that seem quite clear and obvious to me, and I don't understand why they aren't so obvious to everyone.
In our society, we often don't take on big things because we're so afraid of making mistakes that we ignore all the things wrong today if we do nothing. The reality is, anything we do today is going to have some issues in the future. But that can't stop us from getting started. So what are we waiting for? It is time for our generation-defining great works.
Every challenge I take, I have a big vision. I put a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice in things I do. If I don't do it, it means I don't believe in it. In this, I believe very strong, and I will not give up until I'm top of the world. So that's the way it works. You aim for the top, you don't aim for the second. Second place is the first place among the last ones, and that's not my target.
The one thing, people talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just, from happenstance. Whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me.
The one thing that I have learned to relate to all of my children is to dream. There is nothing bigger than your dream. Nothing is greater than your dream. I am not saying that your education is not important, because it's tied to a lot of your dreams. But let me tell you something. There ain't nothing bigger than your dream. Because your dream will propel you to get the education.
Do you like spending money? Clearly not.
Not particularly.
I heard a story that you wanted to buy a watch, and at this point you had sold millions of albums, that you wanted to buy a watch.
I know this story.
Is that true? You called up your manager to see if you could afford to buy the watch?
Yeah. I think it was a Rolex. Was it a Rolex? It was a Rolex. And I asked him, could I afford it? Because they make fun of me for it, but I'm for real. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, this is the whole money thing, all that stuff was brand new to me.